I'm reading. Hi, good morning. I'm reading our text line. And over on the other station, I guess they're having a conversation about like autofill texting, you know? When you're texting and the computer's like, did you mean this word? And it like, I don't know about yours because I don't know how the Apple works because I'm an Android guy. I'm a Google Pixel guy. But on Pixel, like it suggests the word it thinks you're going for. And if that's the word you want to use, you just push the space bar, right? But if you keep typing, it doesn't switch it. And I guess they're like there's folks complaining about having issues with that. And here are the last two texts that came in on that topic to the other station. One of them is, I accidentally sent my adult daughter a GIF with nudity because I didn't watch the whole thing first. And then the second text, and this is why I always, like, I really want us to have our own text line, and I also sometimes don't because of texts like this one. I can't send a sext because my phone doesn't have a magnifying glass function, LOL. What?
You do understand that there are some people that just sit there all day. They may be retired or something, maybe do it at work. That's what they do. We've received texts like that here.
That's amazing.
It just on certain shows here, it's just more acceptable. So
if that text comes into our station, the folks over there are like, yeah, seems normal for the meatheads,
right?
Like seems normal for the jocks over there to be sending text about requiring magnifying glasses to send sext to each other. Not exactly the text I expect to come into that station.
All right, so. I bet you're wondering, was that read on the air? I guarantee you that was read on the
air. Well, and again,
But here's the problem that texters don't seem to understand. You don't have the anonymity that you may have on Twitter.
Yeah.
We see your phone number.
Yeah.
And we've said that multiple times. We see your phone number.
Yeah, like I've been doing this long enough that I know... Like, I know the last four of a lot of numbers, right? I know Stax's last four. I know Keegan's last four. I know Steve's last four. I know Skrilla's last four. Like, the ones that text show all the time, I see the last four, and I'm like, okay, that's Stax, right? I'm sure that the folks over on the other side have the same situation as well, but my goodness. It's fantastic. I just like, and by the way, it is addressed to the young lady who hosts the show over there, right? That's not locker room talk. He sent that to the only lady on the station. Fantastic text.
She's not she's the only lady that's live in the building, but
right.
Still, yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Howdy, y'all. I am Rob, the Great One, the Sultan of Swag, the Professor of Perfection, the Wizard of Wave, and soon to be Boo Box participant.
You know, that doesn't sound like there's a lot in there. You would think after last week, I didn't take any out. I didn't look at it.
There's about 10 in there.
Is there?
There's about 10 in there.
It doesn't sound weighty.
Well, I didn't put like whole slips of paper. They're like small slips.
Well, we were asked yesterday if submissions can still happen. Yes, throughout the entire season, or till week 5.
And not only can submissions still come in, you have until 11 o'clock to get them in because that is when Lonzo will draw Boo Box punishment number 2 because we did not announce it yesterday, and my goal was to hype the announcement of the loser, but I blew it in the first segment, so whatever. I'll just go ahead and get him out of the way now.
So anyway, you have till week 5 because I will. Didn't we decide 4 in a row? Did we decide 5 in a row?
I believe you called that if there is a 5-week losing streak,
all right.
The competition will come to a close.
Yeah, because then it's no fun.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's no fun for the audience.
Right.
But, that's all. I'm just concerned about the listeners.
I'll tell you what. If it gets to 5, I will, Lonzo, I will change it up if you are willing to go to 6.
No. You're not going to change rules or anything.
No.
If it gets to 5, it's proof that you're better than me.
No. Well, that's what I'm saying. If it gets to 5, I will allow texters to make my pick in week 6.
No. See, that's that.
It's you versus the audience.
Yeah. But you know what that does? That belittles my ability. That's what you're saying is I am so much better, which you will have proven in 5 weeks. Why does a contest need to go on? After 5 weeks, I think we're done because I mean, so week 6, the listeners beat me, and I'm still doing this unless you people enjoy seeing me suffer at least once a week. I mean, sadist you may be, and if that's the way it is, then I guess that's the way it is. And in the end, it's the Rob Brown show. So if you say that's the way it is, that's the way it is.
Wow, it'd make me look like the heel. All right, here's the lines and picks from the weekend.
That's kind of the point.
Yeah, no, it was. It hit the mark. Alabama defeats Texas walk-off style 20-19. However, the line was Alabama minus 20.5, and Zoe and I both took the Tide to cover. They did not by almost all of the points. That's an L. 0-1 for both of us. South Carolina at Arkansas. The Razorbacks were an 8.5-point favorite. They won 44-30 over the Gamecocks. Rob took Arkansas. That moves him to an even 1-1. Lonzo took South Carolina 0-2.
I just want to point out that it was close.
It was close until it wasn't. South Carolina made a rally late.
What did they lose by?
14. Line was 8.5.
Oh, I thought still.
It's closer than I thought it was going to be for the record.
Yeah.
UNC minus 7.5 at Georgia State. This, Lonzo, is what we in the gambling world would call a bad beat. You have just learned what a bad beat is. A bad beat is when everything says that the bet was the right bet and then something stupid happens that changes the line to an L. UNC minus 7.5, and they win by 7 exactly. 35-28 your final in favor of the Heels, but the line was minus 7.5, which means that Georgia State covered, and Rob Brown called the Panthers to cover. Made it by 0.5 point. Lonzo loses by 0.5 point, 0-3 to 2-1 for Rob here. Tennessee was minus 6 at Pitt. We both took the Volunteers to cover it up. They did 34-27 by a single point, but it doesn't matter. The cover was there. That moves Rob to 3-1 and Lonzo at this point to 1-3. Appalachian State versus Texas A&M. The Aggies, LOL, 19.5-point favorites, LOL, and they lose at home to the Mountaineers, 17-14. That pick moves Rob to 3-2, and Lonzo goes 1-4 in college picks. Not a great week. Then we go to the National Football League. We both had the Miami Dolphins to cover up minus 3.5 against New England, and they did by a lot. 20-7, the Dolphins knock off their AFC East divisional competitors. Lonzo and Rob are both 1-0 in the National Football League. Then we both went on a bad streak. Pitt at Cincinnati. The Bengals were 6.5-point favorites. They lose by 3. Jacksonville at Washington. The Commanders, were 2.5-point favorites. We both picked Jacksonville to be inside of 2.5. I think we both picked them to outright win. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, they should have. They should have won that game. But they did not. The Commanders win 28-22 and beat the spread. That is 1-2 for both of us. New Orleans, minus 5.5 at Atlanta. The Saints do win, but it's by a single point, 27-26. We both had the Saints to cover at 5.5. We both missed that one. And finally, the Las Vegas Raiders. at the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers were 3.5-point favorites. Rob picked the Chargers to be better than 3.5. Zoe picked the Raiders. Vegas loses 24-19, which means that on the week, courtesy of the National Football League, Rob Brown goes 5-5 on the week. Lonzo, with I believe his worst individual record in a year and a half, goes 2-8 on the week overall. On the season, Rob Brown 11-9 against the spread. Lonzo tumbles to 7-13 against the spread. Got to bounce back from that, Zoe. Got to bounce back from that.
Do I have to?
You have to bounce back.
Do I have
that.
to? I'm not so
Forget
sure.
the boo box. For pride, you got to bounce back from 7-13.
No, here's the problem. The real problem. As I'm sitting here sitting there watching some games, my wife, who just happens to be tuned in right now, gives me the look and then pretty much asks me, "What's wrong with you?" I can't help it. It's not like I'm picking wrong on purpose. I'm not.
Picking against the spread's tough. I don't like
For me.
No, in general, right? Like I'm telling you right now, if you finish the year 55% or better, you had a good year.
I did better last year, and I had no idea what I was doing.
You really and honestly, it really was just a bad week. You went what'd you go? You went 500 last week.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Picking 500 against the spread is average. That's what you like. That's the bit. If you follow somebody who picks sub 500 against the spread, stop following them.
After the really bad day that I had last Friday, you would think that it would make me pick better, but it had the opposite effect on me.
Yeah, you went down.
Yeah, it did. Maybe I had trouble picking because of the colors I was wearing. Maybe that had something to do with it.
That's true.
Yes.
So is there a chance that if you draw a punishment today that requires further wardrobing, is there a chance that you go ahead and knock that out on Thursday this week so that you don't have the mental strife that was placed on you on Friday? Or was it just that particular color that did it?
Oh, that color is not even allowed in my house.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I'm going to blame it on the color. I am.
So if you get the Michigan or Brady T-shirt, does that mean you're gonna rock that early? Or will you do it on Friday?
I'm gonna wait till the last moment.
Okay.
Really, all that stuff comes down to availability of said product.
I suspect I'll be purchasing you one of those T-shirts.
There are Michigan fans in the audience, by the way.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's true.
There are.
One of them will be like, Lonzo's going to wear a Michigan shirt. I will be at the studio in 7 seconds.
Yes.
It's already on your door. It's in your office.
And we'll ask for a selfie.
Oh, yeah.
With me wearing a shirt, which I wouldn't blame them. And as far as Tom goes, there's a Tampa Bay fan in the building. So
that's true. We do have Todd down the hall.
Who may actually have
one.
A Brady.
He might even have in fact, I think he has a Brady jersey.
I think he does, and it might actually fit.
Yeah.
Me, so.
Yeah. All right, we'll see. 11 o'clock, 11 a.m., Lonzo will draw his Boo Box Bet punishment for the week. You, dear listener, have until that point to get in any suggested punishments that you would like to get into Lonzo's Boo Box before the pick at 11 a.m.
I just want to say, Josh, that's very off color. I just want to say that. That's kind of mean. It's kind of mean.
Yeah, I gotta tell you,
not towards me.
Yeah, no.
Not towards me. I obviously I can take it, but at least so far.
Joe said, nothing is worse than knowing a little bit about sports betting. You know just enough to overthink your picks.
Absolutely.
Agree?
Yes, I do. And I really, this is not me making an excuse. I think go back and tune into last week's show with the orange when we made the picks. I'm not in my right mind at that moment.
He was heated.
And all I could think of is, I don't want this to happen again, and maybe I overdid it,
Texter said, and I'm going to go ahead and answer this question for Lonzo before I read the text. The answer is absolutely not happening, Texter. I'll go ahead and answer that preemptively. Preemptive strike. It's not happening. But Texter says, does Lonzo donating his hair fall inside of the rules for Boo Box Bet punishments?
Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, no. No, I told you, no massive alterations to appearance. Temporary? Sure. Lonzo dyeing his beard like Hulk Hogan? Fine.
You could say a haircut is temporary because the hair will grow back, but I'm not cutting my hair because I don't want to.
Yeah. No, I'm saying large alterations.
Yeah.
Like a dyed beard can go back.
Yeah, I'll shave it off and you guys will hate it. You will hate the results. I might as well wear a turtleneck after I shave it off.
So 5-5 is Rob Brown, a massively dismal 2-8. And by the way, to follow up on Joe's point, Joe is spot on with this, right? And this is what I tell people all the time who ask me for help in getting started wagering on sports. And the answer I give comes from one of my favorite philosophers of all time, Parks and Rec's Ron Swanson.
I'm thinking Plato, Socrates.
Not Ron Swanson.
Okay, all right.
Ron Swanson. Ron Swanson, in a conversation with Leslie Knope, said, never half-ass two things. Always whole-ass one thing. It's one of my favorite quotes. If you are going to gamble on sports, you cannot do it casually, right? You cannot do it casually. There is an interesting challenge for Lonzo and I in doing our Boo Box picks on Friday, in that I don't put the picks together until about 8:30 on Friday morning, right? About 8:30 Friday morning, I put the picks together, and as soon as they're together, I send them over to Zoe to have them before the show starts. We basically give ourselves 2 hours to come up with our picks. And in that 2 hours, we're trying to do a show for you guys, right? So it's not like we could really commit to it. If you are going to wager with your own money, you absolutely cannot just like read a Sports Illustrated article about the game and then feel like you've got it, right? Can't do it. When Cody and I were doing Bet for the Cycle on Saturdays, my formerly nationally syndicated baseball gambling show, Cody and I, for about 3 hours the night before, would be texting about every afternoon game we were going to talk about the next day. Who do you like? Who don't you like? Why? What are the numbers here? What are the splits there? And I'm going to go ahead and tell you that all of that research, though, for me, all of that research is about a 8% increase in games that I correctly pick, right? Picks me up about 8%. But there is a world of difference between picking 50% of the games correctly and 58% of the games correctly. A world of difference over the long run. So if you are getting into sports gambling, the very first suggestion I have for you, I've given you guys over the years a lot of thoughts, suggestions, rules that I follow, etc. None of them is going to be bigger than do not half-ass your picks. Do not just look at a game and go, oh, well, I think they're going to win by 7 and the line's 5.5. New Orleans, right? Because if you do, you're going to find out Vegas knows what they're doing for a reason. Vegas knows what they are doing. They are really good at that. And they're going to trick you. And all they got to do, if you pick 10 games a week, and they trick you with 2 lines, you are already starting 2 games behind the curve, which means that you've got to go, what? You got to win 6 of the other 8 just to break even, right? And that's hard to do.
So would it be to my advantage to just pick the Vegas thing straight?
No, because you're picking against the spread. There is no straight against the spread.
Okay.
Now, here is what I will give you advice about using Vegas lines. If you are doing a personal bet with your buddy, loser's got to go, walking up and down Greenville with a sandwich board that says, throw a tomato at me or whatever. Then
don't get any ideas. I ain't doing that.
if you are having a personal bet with a buddy, like he's a big whatever guy and you're picking some team against that team, then sure, go to Vegas. See who the favorite is, right? If Vegas says this team's 3.5-point favorites, pick that team. Bet on that team. But when you're picking against the spread, keep in mind, the goal for Las Vegas is to get half the money to come in on one team and half the money to come in on the other, right? They're trying to set a line where half of the people who bet on one side and half bet on the other, or where the big-time gamblers are dumping a lot more money on one side than the other, and those are the lines they're trying to trick you with, right? So when you're up against the spread, the goal for Vegas is to do, Lonzo, what they did, for instance, with this North Carolina-Georgia State game, right? How many people looked at Vegas and said, Carolina -7.5. Yeah, they didn't look great against, whoever it was the week before, Appalachian State. Giving up 62. But man, they got to be better than Georgia State. There's a lot of people, though, that looked at -7.5 for an ACC, or FBS squad going up against Georgia State, who plays in a dilapidated baseball stadium in downtown Atlanta and brings 17 fans to their games. And when you're telling me 7.5, a lot of people got tricked by that line, Lonzo, and went North Carolina, yourself included. What was the final score of that game? 35-28. What's the difference? 7. They know what they're doing.
It had nothing to do with the line. It had to do with how many points they scored against App State.
Oh, I get it.
The week before.
I get it. I understand. But that's it. That's how Vegas makes their money back. The other thing that you'll see, Zoe, is a lot of times, in fact, let me see if I can pull a game right now for this upcoming weekend that can illustrate this point for me. The other thing, before we go to break, that you'll see Vegas do in a situation like this is like this. LA Chargers taking on your Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday night, Lonzo. Should be a good one, right? Well, the Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites. They got to win by more than a field goal, right? 4 or better, they got to win. But here's what you'll see. On the spread line, which is 3.5 points of difference, plus 3.5 for the Chargers, minus 3.5 for the Chiefs. They are listed at -107. You remember how the plus minus works for the dollar amounts you bet? If you are -107, what's that mean? You got to bet $107 to win $100 back, right? So basically, there's a $7 penalty if you lose. I mean, it's a $100 loss bet plus a $7 penalty. The way that Vegas protects themselves here and makes a little money is, let's say, Lonzo, I think a lot of people are going to jump the Chiefs on that action, right? Pat Mahomes goes 5 touchdowns in week 1, shows that he is, he got 5, but he threw up the 4.
No, I'm just throwing up the 4 and said 4. Yeah.
The Chargers are 3.5-point dogs. The Chiefs are 3.5. Zoe, a lot of people jump on that Chiefs line, right? -3.5, that's a good line. I can get them, all they got to do is win by 4. After 5 touchdown performance from Patty Mahomes, that's a great line. So a lot of people are going to go Chiefs. Well, Vegas says this game's closer than anybody gives it credit for, and I think it could be, right? I think it could be. But on top of that, if you want to bet the Chiefs and you win, great. Everybody who bets the Chargers loses their cash, and everybody who bets the Chiefs effectively pays Vegas $7 to make the bet. Does that make sense with a minus 107? Because to win 100, you got to bet 107 to get the 100 back. It's effectively a way for Vegas to still make sure they are getting their money even on one bets. That's why these lines are written the way that they are. And that's why, like, you're going to see Jets, Browns. Browns are 6-point favorites, minus 107. Dolphins are 3.5-point underdogs to the Ravens. The Ravens minus 3.5, minus 105. The Lions are 2.5-point favorites over the Commanders, minus 107. You're going to see those lines because that's how Vegas tricks you and gets their money back.
All right, I just looked up Chiefs Chargers from last year. They split the series. Both victories were by 6 points.
Yeah.
So if you look at that, why wouldn't you go ahead and take that?
Yeah.
Because you know it's going to be more than that.
A lot of people are going to jump on that minus 3.5 for the Chiefs. And to be real with you, I'm debating it. I'm debating it. I don't think people understand how good Justin Herbert is. Let's take a break. We'll come back here in a minute. We got a lot more of that to get into. We got a lot of football to talk about today. But I want to get into this story that broke last week about Doug Gottlieb. Remember how everybody was mad that Freddie Freeman's agent didn't tell him about the contract that Atlanta offered him? Turns out there's more to that story from old Doug Gottlieb. Tell you about that next on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Warehouse. I think the question with the boo box is, have I already picked the worst one? At least the most impactful for this area. Everything else is just going to be about me. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to do any of it. And who knows, maybe I get lucky because that's what it's going to take and actually beat him next week. It could happen.
I'm going to start dressing like Seth Rollins.
You already have the wardrobe for it.
I know.
I mean, it's not.
Back into it.
That's funny, Joseph. That's really funny.
You heard it on the run, baby. That's the way you want it, baby. Then I don't want you around. Ba-ba-bow, ba-da-dow-dow.
The answer to that would be no.
Under the gun, so you take it on the run. Bow, bow, wow.
Hey, Rob, where's Banner? I'm just saying.
So,
I'm just going to have to write fan again and put it on the wall.
I wrapped it up, brought it out to the truck, and set it in the truck bed of the color guy. So I'm pretty sure it's in the back of his truck. So I may have to go to Greer today.
I mean, I guess we don't need it till next week. I'm sure the powers that be never look at the stream, so we're good. I think I'll just blow up a big picture of Mark Ryan and stick it back there. Guaranteed to get views with that thing. Prisma in the next break.
So remember back when Freddie Freeman became a Los Angeles Dodger? And there was a lot of drama between him and the Atlanta Braves and Braves fans and the Dodgers and his agent, Casey Close. And then Doug Gottlieb came out one day, and Doug Gottlieb reported that Casey Close, the agent for Freddie Freeman, received an offer of a contract for Freddie Freeman from the Braves, and Doug Gottlieb said he never told Freddie Freeman about that deal. Welp, turns out Doug Gottlieb lied about that. Doug Gottlieb tweeted on June 29th, quote, Casey Close never told Freddie Freeman about the Braves' final offer, end quote. Since then, there was a lot of pushback, including by Casey Close and Excel Sports Management, who sued Gottlieb back in mid-July in U.S. District Court in Manhattan, alleging defamation by libel. Well, Gottlieb last week tweeted out, quote, upon further vetting of my sources, a review of the lawsuit filed against me in this matter, and a direct conversation with Casey himself, I have learned that the conduct I allege did not occur and that there is no credible basis for stating that it did. My ultimate investigation into this matter confirms that Casey Close did, in fact, communicate all offers to Freddie Freeman, and sources I relied on were incorrect. I appreciate the damage that misinformation like this can cause and have been in touch with Casey Close to apologize directly. I have also deleted my original tweet, end quote. Not a great look, Doug. Not a great look. Now, I have, unlike a lot of people, I have some level of sympathy for journalists. It's a hard gig. And one of the hardest things about the gig is when you receive information from a source and that source wants to remain anonymous. That's a tough thing to do because I could call anybody and go, hey, I work for that company, and that company tortures puppies. And I want to be anonymous.
That's the example you went with?
Well, I had to come up with something drastic, right? Anybody can give you information. I was a reporter for 2.5 years, almost 3. And there were many times where people inside of local county government would call me and go, hey, it's so-and-so from the sewage department. And I need you to know that, the sewage plant down there on whatever street, they scaled it back. They're only operating it at 50% in order to save money so they can add more to the coffers while they're asking people to, reduce their water usage. It's like, damn, that's a big story. Can I run with it? Yeah, but don't use my name. Keep me anonymous, right? I want to be anonymous. I'm not going to. And then it sucks for you because if you go on the record and you say that you have anonymous sources close to the story, and here's the information you got from those sources, and then that information turns out to be wildly incorrect, what does it look like? It looks like you made it up, right? It looks like you have created a hype story to get yourself talked about for a while by generating information, because when it comes out to be wrong, you can just go, oh, my sources misled me. The job of an investigative journalist is to come up with proof that that is the case, right? If I got that story working for the local news, what's the first thing I do? I'm calling the sewage plant. Hey, I've got reports that you guys are operating at 50% capacity. Is that true? No? Can I come by and inspect? Can I come by and take a tour? And then if they go no, then you can go comments about this, and a request to tour the facility were repeatedly denied by the county. And now it's on the county to prove or to explain why they would not let somebody come in and prove those rumors false.
See, I believe that there's a good portion of society, when they hear sources, they believe that that person's making it up,
Sure.
the person reporting it, and then something like this comes along, and it makes it look like that's true. I mean, there are sources out there, absolutely, but how many times are there not? So if you say I have sources, you automatically are being questionable.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand how much good information is generated by anonymous sources, right? Again, I was in journalism for a long time. I had a lot of good scoops when I was a TV journalist that came to me from anonymous sources. My job was to vet those sources and vet their information, right? A lot of times I would go with sources. Sources does not just by default mean this guy's lying, right? This guy made that up. Sources very often, more often than not, for journalists with integrity, more often than not means I got a guy in the know, but he can't come forward because it would cost him his job or reputation or whatever, for whatever his reason is for not coming forward. But again, your job's to vet that out, right? Did Doug Gottlieb call Casey Close and go, hey, I've got a source that says? Did he call Freddie Freeman and say, hey, I got a source that says this? Is there any belief to the alternative from you? Did he call Excel Management and ask them? Did he snoop around? Did he investigate this a little bit? Or did he just go, sources say? Because there are also bad journalists who do make stuff up and then credit it to sources. There are folks who make up wild rumors and then go, source. No, it's uncredited sources. You just got to trust me. You just got to believe this. It's a source. That's not what sources are, right? But Doug Gottlieb, who, by the way, listen, do you know the backstory with Doug Gottlieb about what happened at Notre Dame and all that when he played basketball there? Doug Gottlieb played basketball at Notre Dame and stole credit card information from other students on campus and bought like thousands and thousands of dollars worth of stuff on other people's credit cards.
Wait. No, I did not know that. So he did all that and people believe he has credible sources. I mean,
So Doug stole a bunch of credit card information when he was at Notre Dame.
did he go to jail?
I believe he had some sort of mediation involved, but he got kicked off the Notre Dame basketball team. He was gonna go play at, was it Georgia Tech? He was gonna go play at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech called him back after I have to go find out exactly what happened with his punishment. I don't think he ever went to jail for it. But Doug Gottlieb certainly had his credibility questioned. And then after that, he got he ended up at Oklahoma State, if I recall correctly, and was a pretty good little player at Oklahoma State. But then after that went down, like he's been on this big thing about like, oh, I asked for forgiveness and I made a huge mistake as a player and I've regretted it my whole life and I live with that mistake and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, all right, man, second chances are great. But when you put out a story that has the implication that how many times have on this show, how many times on this show have we talked about that Freddie Freeman scenario? I have based entire takes on if Casey Close did not tell Freddie Freeman. Hell, Freddie Freeman fired Casey Close like 4 days after it was reported that Casey Close withheld contract information from him. He fired him. You think Casey Close didn't lose a little money off that deal, right? It's just a bad look. You cannot just make stuff up and credit the sources. What I really hate about this is the damage done to good journalists, is the damage done to good reporters, good journalists, good media members who frequently rely on sources to provide important investigatory news that is credible and turns out right and impacts people. Because every time that other dudes in sports now go, sources say, people are going to go, oh yeah, just like Doug Gottlieb. Just like Doug Gottlieb's sources. Yeah, I trust your sources just like I trust Doug's sources. That's why I cannot stand this. And that's why Doug Gottlieb is not a go-to for me anymore. I immediately unfollowed that. I can't have that in my life. Come back, wrap up hour number 1 of the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Yeah, let's not do that again. Prisma.
All right, stream, we back.
What do these people eat? Oh.
Vicky, hey, buddy. Long time no see. How are you, friend?
Being hit by a wall of stank. When
Yeah,
you're walking around.
there's some bad ones. I'm shocked that Doug would do something. Yeah, Doug. Like, you already have a reputation that is tarnished, buddy. Not a great look. Not a great look. Source. Trust me, bro. Steven, what's up, big dog? Welcome in. Welcome in.
Hey, you know about that thing? You know that thing?
Hey, listen, I got a guy. All right? I got it. You just got to trust me. I got a guy.
According to my sources, Carmine.
Come on.
Carmine, also known as the Rat. What's up, Steven?
Everybody's working for the weekend.
Come on, man. It's Tuesday. I mean, you know.
You're not down for a little lover boy?
No, I'm just saying. I get you're working for the weekend, but it's Tuesday. It's a ways away. I don't think you can sing that song before Thursday.
Everyone's watching. See what you will do.
Speaking of which, we haven't said when that's happening.
Oh.
Dude. Rob, do I have to touch it with
11 o'clock, yeah,
with my finger? I didn't hear you say 11
First
o'clock.
segment,
Are you
I said
sure
11
you said 11 o'clock?
100% sure I said 11 a.m.
Are you 100% sure?
Swear to you.
My sources tell me you didn't say
Sources
that.
tell me. You want a piece of my heart? Gotta start from the start. You wanna be in the show? Come on, let it go. Bow down, 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 down. Dun, 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 down, 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 down. Dun, 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 down, 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 down. All right, wrapping up hour number one. James on the Facebook stream at facebook.com/thefanupstate, YouTube by searching and subscribing to The Rob Brown Show, or on any of our Twitter platforms. You can watch the stream live and in living color. Says, I, for one, am shocked that Doug Gottlieb will do something dishonest. Listen, I am a second chance dude. And what Doug did was a long time ago. What Doug Gottlieb did was well over 2 decades ago. If you held stuff against me that I did when I was 18 or 19 years old, it would suck. It would suck. I am fine with letting kids, as long as they prove that they understand the mistake they made and the consequences of it, and find the second chance. But you also have to understand that while you can be forgiven, it may not be forgotten, right? While things can be forgiven, they may not be forgotten. And Doug's a dude that already had a strike against the rep. He already had a strike against his credibility. So this is a bad look. I would feel bad for Doug Gottlieb if he really did get misled by a source, especially if it was a trusted source close to the source of the story, right? I had, when I was a reporter, I had sources get things wrong, right? I had one story specifically about Eglin Air Force Base when I was a reporter down in the Florida Panhandle, where a source told me there was a bunch of money being wasted by the Air Force Base. And I researched it and got into it and discovered that that was not the case. There was an accounting error that the Air Force was able to prove was a genuine mistake and fixed it, corrected it immediately. Had I just run with that story, I would have been accusing the Air Force of wasting a lot of taxpayer dollars. But I vetted it out. That's what you got to do. So for a dude that already had a shot to his credibility, even if he had been forgiven for what he did on the campus of Notre Dame over 2 decades ago. It's a bad look. This does not mean that every time a reporter says sources say, it's a lie. More often than not, they got a lead. They got something going here, right? But I'm upset with Doug because, yes, we're at a point now where a lot of good media is distrusted for no reason. Well, they reported this thing that I don't already believe to be true. Therefore, it's fake news. Not necessarily. I'm not saying it's always right. But it's guys like Doug that make that job harder than it needs to be at a point in time where the press has never been more important. It sucks. And I don't like it. It's gross. If you are going to say that, do the digging to find out if it's true. Do the digging. Or, yeah, stamp your name on it. And if it is proven to be false, recognize that your credibility is shot. Doug Gottlieb's credibility is shot with me. A guy that I have enjoyed following his stuff is now shot for me. You are good as a basketball analyst and nothing else for me. I'm not good with that. I'm not good with that. All right, let's get into some football when we come back here in just a minute from right now. We'll get into lessons we can take away from Clemson and SC's game this past weekend. And when we come back, right call, wrong call for Denver to try a 64-yard field goal on 4th and 5 last night. I want to break that down. Coming back, Rob Alonzo, the Rob Brown Show. It's the Fan Upstate.
By the way, the Dexter Loomis thing last night, which you haven't seen yet, is excellent.
I'm gonna watch it when we get off the air before we do the pod. Well, I'm setting up for the pod. The pod. Did you see the images from the house show they did in Colorado Springs? Miz had another match with Lashley, and Tommaso was getting involved. So Loomis shows up, and apparently, turned like all the lights went down and turned blue, and he brought like zombies into the ring to scare the Miz, and then just picked up the Miz and left. Just picked him up and left the arena.
Remember, he did the zombies thing on NXT with To the Moon, Cameron Grimes. I can neither confirm or deny that, Josh, but it wasn't.
No, I've narrowed it down to 3.
I know who it is.
Yeah.
I'm just not saying. Anyone who says that, things don't smell when they do things, they're lying. So, but some smell pretty bad. It's easy to narrow it down in a place like this. Imagine if you're working in a place with a couple hundred employees. In our case, you could pick a name and there's like 3 of each. So you got a good shot at being right. You wouldn't be, by the way, but you could.
No, you don't think so?
Well, no, I know who it is. I know who it is.
Hour numerous of the Rob Brown Show goes now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is, as always, tremendous to be with you. My name is Rob Brown. Directly across from me, in charge of the radio broadcast today, he is the great one, Lonzo. Monday Night Football is back, baby. It's pretty good last night, too.
Let's ride to a loss.
Broncos country. Let's ride. If you have not, you know what? Let me see if I can find that clip. I want to play that clip.
You'll have to send it to me because remember, you can't do it from over there.
Let's see if I can find it. There's a clip that has been going around of Russ getting ready for his debut with the Denver Broncos, and he's like filming a commercial. Here, I'm about to drop it into your DMs, Lonzo. Slide into Zoe's DMs, where he's like filming a promo, and he's just repeatedly saying, "Broncos country, let's ride. Broncos country, let's ride. Broncos country, let's ride." It's very awkward. I just sent it to you. If we can pull the audio and play. It's better to be able to see it, but it's hilarious enough to listen to it. So Denver let's ride it into Seattle last night, trying to give Russ a revenge game, and they didn't.
Let's ride.
Broncos.
Let's ride.
Perfect.
Okay.
One more time. Broncos country. Let's ride.
Broncos country, let's ride. Broncos country, let's ride. Broncos country, let's ride. Broncos country, let's ride.
I could listen to that on an endless loop. Broncos country, let's ride. Broncos country, let's ride. Broncos country, let's ride. Broncos country, let's ride.
It was an enjoyable night for me last night because I've said for a long time that I think that Russell Wilson's overrated. And then he went to a team that I can't stand. So he gets to prove that he's overrated. And he loses. And I saw certain people, some of which might be on the station, lamenting, complaining, whining, crying. How could he be booed? What's the matter with it? This is so stupid. He chose to go somewhere else. He chose to leave. Of course they're going to boo you. If you choose to leave the job that you're at now and then you come back to that job and you wonder why the people there don't like you anymore, maybe it's because you chose to leave.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Gino.
Broncos country,
Gino.
let's ride. Broncos country, let's ride.
By the way, what I just said is a spoiler for later because you're going to hear a whole lot of that.
Broncos country, let's ride. It's so bad. Anyway,
Why would you boo him?
They
He was
did.
so good for you. I don't understand. He chose to leave.
they look.
He don't even go here no more.
They don't even go to this school. Can't sit here. Seats taken. Russ comes out last night to a chorus of boos from Seahawks fans, and every dude announcer in the world clutched their pearls. And I'm talking about the necklace metaphorically. And I'll show you. You know what? Join the stream during the break because I'm about to show you guys something hilarious. Remember how I told you Texas A&M's a cult? I have now got the ultimate proof that Texas A&M's a cult. Join us on the stream at facebook.com/thefanupstate. Words are hard. Twitter.com/thefanupstate. On Lonzo's Twitter at Lonzo1Award, on my Twitter at The Rob Brown Show, or by searching and subscribing to The Rob Brown Show on YouTube. I laughed so hard at the number of people metaphorically clutching pearls last night when Russ got booed by the Seahawks. And I'm like, what the hell did you expect?
Hey, they got me to tweet. They got, that doesn't happen very often during the game, and I had to. hoping to get some people to come at me, and they didn't.
Yeah.
Because it's, of course, he got booed. It makes, how could you legitimately be surprised by that?
I am not surprised by that because, he's not your quarterback. And as soon as times got tough in Seattle, he bailed.
Who
Now,
is the
I'm not mad at
quarterback?
him for bailing because he got paid a lot of money. Gino looked okay last night. Looked okay.
He won the game.
Looked
No,
okay.
he looked okay. He looked possibly better than what the former quarterback would have looked in that situation. I still say he's overrated. He was a and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. He was a system quarterback. He was the product of a really good defense and a really good running game, which gave him some more lanes to throw and things like that. When he lost his really good defense and he lost his really good running game, people started to see he was not that good. So he took the opportunity to go to a team that has a really good defense and a pretty good running game.
That guy's a pretty good boxer, but when he lost his use of his arms, he wasn't as good. He's overrated.
By the way, you can give me the looks. You can give me the
The
tones, but you're not going to convince me that I'm wrong about him being overrated.
Nah.
It's going to be
He's got the looks.
It's going to be a long year for Russell Wilson in the AFC West. If you can't beat that team that you left, you think you're going to beat Kansas City? You think you're going to beat San Diego?
It's one game.
Not San Diego, Los
It's one game.
Angeles. Yeah, it is one game.
It's just one game.
It is one game.
It's just one game.
But his career is overrated.
One
So,
game.
yeah.
Don't panic yet. Here's what I do want to talk
It's
about.
not panic here, it's joy.
Here's what I do want to talk about. What I do want to talk about is the decision by the Broncos. It's 4th and 5. The Broncos have run well up over 40 seconds off the clock on a drive. They are at the Seattle 46-yard line, and they attempt a 64-yard field goal. It would have been the second longest field goal in NFL history. And this morning, every channel that I flip by is like, what a terrible decision. You paid Russell all this money. You should let him go convert 4th and 5.
But when you look and you realize you have an average quarterback who's not going to get you down there and get you the points, you gotta go with what you got, and you got to go with your kicker. I mean, you don't have a choice. You see how your average quarterback played for the entire game, couldn't even beat the team that he used to play for, that team that wasn't good enough that he left. Let's ride.
Joe's getting the look. He's getting the look. He's getting the look. He's getting the look. So the discussion was, should the Broncos have gone for it on 4th and 5 for a terrible Russ Wilson who had only thrown for 340 yards last night? Terrible performance.
Average, man. Average.
340 yards. What an awful performance.
Against that team,
Yeah.
that depleted team. That's all he can manage. He should have destroyed that team, did he?
Yeah,
No.
terrible.
Because there was a quarterback on the other side outplaying him.
Terrible take. 340 yards. Terrible night.
Wasn't a terrible take. I'm right.
Terrible night. 340 yards.
Who won?
Awful night.
Who won? What
Is that the margin? Is that how this works?
No. What coach decided this quarterback ain't good enough to get us down there? We're going to have to go to try to tie the longest field goal in NFL history because this quarterback is not going to be able to do it.
So that's the discussion, right? That's the discussion was it a good call? Was it a bad call?
It was a good call. And I know people think I'm joking. I do think he's overrated, but it comes down to who do you trust more? And obviously the coach, you can say, well, the coach just doesn't know what he's doing. The coach trusted the kicker more than he trusted Russell Wilson. That's what's bothering a lot of people because they have him somewhere where he doesn't belong. He's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. Probably below Dak Prescott, maybe?
No.
Yeah, probably below Dak Prescott.
Stop it, Lonzo.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Stop.
He's
Come on.
Is he an elite quarterback, Rob?
Define elite. Brady elite? No.
Is he Aaron Rodgers?
Dak Prescott.
Is he Patrick Mahomes? Is he even Herbert? No, he's none of those guys. He's not. There's a tier that he's not on.
I'd say Russell Wilson checks in around the 7th best quarterback, 8th best quarterback in the league.
Really? So how well has he done the last 5 or 6 years?
All right. This is not okay, real quick. The point of this was not to sit here and bash or make me faux defend Russell Wilson for 20 minutes.
I was kind of looking forward to this segment.
We can come back to it. I don't mind that. I disagree with you. He's better than Dak Prescott.
Well, he is now because Dak ain't playing for a while.
Here's what I wanted to talk about.
How many fan bases can I offend in one segment?
Knowing you, most of them. Here's what I wanted to get into. As I flip around stations this morning, every single talk show is, did he make the right call? You know what the difference is between that being a good call or a bad call to fans? About 18 inches. right? How wide left was that field goal last night, Lonzo? About 10 inches left?
I think it was more wide than you think. According to
foot and a half.
Yeah, it was probably more like that.
I'll say it's
Did it have the distance though? I'm not even sure it had
Hell
the
yeah.
distance. I couldn't tell.
It was good from 70. No joke.
I
It was
couldn't
good
tell from the
70.
angle that I saw.
It was good from 70. No joke. It was an absolute banger. That thing was good from 70. Dead serious. And it was maybe a foot and a half to the left. 2 feet. Doesn't matter. Irrelevant. It was close. Right? If that thing sneaks through the upright, sneaks through the left upright, everybody is coming in today and going, what a great decision. What a great call to kick that field goal. The discussion's not being had. It's really simple. It's really simple. When the question gets asked, was that the right decision? If it goes right, it was the right decision. If it goes wrong, it was the wrong decision. And that's just how fans operate. Last year, NFL teams went for it on 4th and 5. Let me pull up my stat here because I went and found it this morning. Last year, NFL teams went for it on 4th and 5 like 22 times over the course of the season. And they converted it just a tick shy of 50% of the time. About 48% of the time they completed in that spot, right? 64-yard field goals, haven't been many of those. Second longest in league history if it goes. The Broncos allowed nearly all of the play clock to expire before calling their first time out of the second half with 20 seconds to play. Hackett said Hackett, of course, being the head coach of the Broncos, Nathaniel Hackett, said that they were right on the line of the difference from where he was confident that Brandon McManus could convert the field goal at 64 yards. He missed by a foot and a half, man. Foot and a half. That's the difference between that being a good call and a bad call. Here's the thing. Nathaniel Hackett is not trying to lose the football game, right? Like, I feel like when we have these conversations, some people like to approach them from the standpoint of, was he trying to lose the game? No, idiot. He's making a metric boatload of money to win the game. He's not trying to lose. In fact, this may shock you, he's actually trying to win because he gets paid a lot more when he does, right? I'm not saying coaches always make the right decisions. I am saying that dude knows his kicker better than you do, better than I do. Hey, where did Brandon McManus play last year? Was he in college last year? Is he a rookie? Where did he play his college ball? Tell me anything about Brandon McManus. Can you, Lonzo, you got anything about Brandon McManus?
Yeah, and this is not joking. The coach trusts him more than he does his quarterback. And a lot of things play into it, including how many times they had to call timeouts because the crowd was so loud, how many offsides they had, things like that. A lot of things could go wrong there, and that might have been his only shot. And that's the reason why he did that.
Brandon McManus can very clearly hit a 64-yarder. Maybe longer. Scratch that. Not maybe longer. Longer. If he starts that thing at the right upright, he makes that with 10, 15 yards to spare. That thing was a freaking rocket. He made the call that gave him the best chance to win the game, he thought. Teams going for it on 4th and 5 convert less than 50% of the time. But Rob, don't 64-yard field goals hit less than 50% of the time? Maybe. But it's kicker to kicker, right? It's kicker to kicker. And if Brandon McManus is out there in practice knocking down 60-yarders with relative confidence and relative consistency, like, what's the problem? What's the problem? I don't necessarily know that I would have tried a 64-yard field goal with Dustin Hopkins anymore, right? Like, I don't think D-Hop's got that boom in his leg anymore. I don't know that I'm crying a 64-yarder with Robbie Gould. I don't think Robbie, who has been one of the most consistent kickers in NFL history, has got 64 yards of boom left in him anymore. I'm probably not trying it with Greg Zuerlein. He doesn't have the powder keg anymore. But Brandon McManus very clearly had all the leg he needed and then a little bit more to knock that through.
All right, so Sports Illustrated just tweeted Russell Wilson was asked about the decision, and I quote, "I think he has the leg for it, sure," Wilson said. "Just went a little left, I believe. I believe in Coach Hackett. I believe in what we're doing. Believe in everything. Anytime you can try to find a way to make a play on 4th and 5, that's great too. But also, I don't think it was the wrong decision." So we have controversy right there. He just basically he kind of went at the coach. It was subtle. It was underneath.
Nah, You're looking for a reason to hate on Russell.
Come on, Rob. Anytime you can try to find a way to make a play on 4th and 5, that's great too. But also, I don't think it was the wrong decision. That's his words. That says that he wasn't 100% behind the decision.
Shocking.
He is questioning the decision.
Quarterback wants the ball late in the game.
I'm just saying, don't say you're behind the coach and then pretty much say you're not behind the coach, which is what he just did.
Listen, you are always going to second guess a decision that goes wrong, right? You're always going to second guess a decision that goes wrong.
But in the end, all we heard about all this offseason was how good Denver's going to be with Russell Wilson there. The team was just a quarterback away, and yes, it is one game. But we heard all that, and then we come in and we see him struggling. Yes, he did put up all those yards and everything, but how many points did that account for? With that kind of yardage, you should have scored 3 or 4 touchdowns.
I don't disagree. The offense didn't do enough. The offense left a lot to be desired. I'm not disagreeing.
That just
with
means
any of
20 to 20, you did really good, but when you got in the red zone, you struggled.
Again, I'm not disagreeing with any of that. I think you're spot on. The offense left a lot to be desired. The offense left points on the board. The offense created a situation that made it much more difficult to win. The only thing that I am talking about here was the decision to kick the field goal late. Was it the right one? Was it the wrong one?
What would you have done with the struggles that were going on offensively, and like I said earlier, with the crowd noise, with the offside penalties, with all the things that they were struggling with? If you were making that decision, what would you have done?
I can't say that I know, because I don't know Nathaniel. I don't know Brandon McManus, right? Like if I have watched this cat pumping through field goals from 60 plus in practices.
And by the way, no one's talking about we haven't talked about the fact that they ran way too much time off the clock.
I agree with that.
And if you
what we say, they took their time out after running almost the entire 40-second play clock down.
If you trust your quarterback enough, you're not. Now, whose fault was that? Was that Russell Wilson's fault, or was it the coach's fault?
That's on the coach.
So that means he was playing for the field goal the entire time.
And maybe he was. And I don't have a problem with it if he was, dude. I really don't. I don't have a problem with it if he was. If he was playing for the FG because he knows that he's got a kicker out there that can put that thing through, I got zero issue with that at all. None at all. Because he knows his guys. He knows who he's working with.
Yeah, and it looks like he played for the field goal because he didn't trust that the offense could get it down there in time. With that much time, if they could have picked up that 4th and 5, they could have got closer and a more manageable field goal. But he made the decision to play for that field goal, even at the length that the field goal was.
I mean, I get it. I think that Nathaniel Hackett knows his team. He knows his kicker. I don't think he's intentionally going to lose the game. We have such a such an attitude in this country of, well, I would have gotten it right. I would have, he made the wrong decision. I would have gotten it right. Not, dude, maybe, and maybe not.
I hope I never meet a guy who actually talks like that. That's a one percenter circle.
I don't know, man. I feel like there's been a lot of discussion about whether it was the right. In fact, I don't feel like I have watched a lot of the discussion about whether he got it wrong or he got it right. Here's what it comes down to. This dude knows his team better than you. He knows his kicker better than you. He knows the offense better than you. He made the best call he can make in that spot. And again, if that field goal goes through, as it was maybe a foot and a half away from doing, if that field goes through, we are all this morning going, what a gutsy call. What a gutsy call. What a great call. That was the right call in that spot. 50% success rate on 4th and 5 for the National Football League all last season. What a great call to send your kicker out there and trust him to win the game in the big spot. What a great call. That's how the conversation goes this morning. But it didn't go through. Someone said the conversation is, what an idiot. Don't be fickle. Don't be fickle. He gave his squad the best crack his squad had. His squad was 2.5 feet away from winning that football game. That's about as much as you can ask for. I just think it's dumb how many commenters this morning on Television are making a push about, he deserves, that loss is on him. It's all his fault. He should have let Russ go for it. Man, I get it. But if he makes that field goal, you're all writing columns about how big of stones he carried around to let his kicker go win the game for him. It just bugs me. Texture said the kicker from Cleveland would have made that.
Or, maybe he didn't want to put the loss on Russell Wilson and put it on the kicker instead and on himself. Because maybe he didn't want Russell Wilson to go back to Seattle and lose, which if he would have been out there, there's a good shot he doesn't make 4th and 5. So maybe he did that on purpose. Maybe he decided all the heat's going to be on me. It won't be on Russ, so I'm going to do it that way.
I kind of don't hate that theory. I kind of don't hate the theory. I kind of want to just in my headcanon say, yeah, he went out there to protect Russ. That's what it was. He was protecting Russ's image. I like it.
That's something he could never say, but maybe that was his thought process.
I'm going with it. In my head, that's what it is. I'm about that life now. He was just protecting Russ from the endless stream of criticism that he was going to take today if that thing doesn't go through. All right, 844 fan phone, 844 FANFONE, 844 326 3663. You can text us on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307. Start your text with FAN, FAN. Text. Russ's response should have been,
Let's ride.
Let's ride. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. Rob Alonso and you. It's the Fan Upstate.
QC.
Be right back. Stream, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we ride.
corporate is upset about chapters. Apparently, it must be me doing it wrong.
So, I'm about to share with you guys the weirdest thing I've seen in a very long time. I've tried to convince people for years that Texas A&M is a cult, and I think I've just stumbled across the evidence. First off, I retweeted some of their yell practices yesterday. If you didn't see those, go look at them and tell me that I'm wrong. But dig this. This just came across my Twitter feed, right? This comes from a Texas Tech v. A&M game many years ago. Fourth quarter of the game, and because the team is struggling and in pain, the cadets, the yell leaders, decide that in order to share the pain with the football team and help will them to a victory, they all grab onto their dude bits and start squeezing them relentlessly together as a group to cause themselves testicular pain in order to share the pain with the football team in the final minute of the game. They are literally grabbing and squeezing their own junk in a line, bits to bits, in order to put vibes. I don't know. I don't know what the point of this is. But this is, I've never seen anything like this. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
I don't want to look at it. I saw. I'm not going to continually look at it, though. Especially dude with the glasses. He looks like he's in a lot more pain than anybody else.
Yeah, like 3 of those dudes are faking it, right? Like 3 of those dudes are like just...
Dude with the glasses, his face is completely red. He's in pain.
Just why? Just why? Just why? What? Why? Anyway, I had to suffer through that. I needed all of you to suffer through that as well. That's all. That's all that was. That's all that was. I felt the need for you to suffer as well.
Thanks.
I don't feel bad for taking you down that road.
You should.
You should. Whoa.
I wouldn't wish that on anybody, Steven. I mean anybody.
You didn't appreciate that, Lonzo? That didn't give
No.
you the LOLs that it gave for me?
No, that was uncomfortable and I believe unnecessary. And now, I want that purged from my memory if possible.
So you guys need to join us on the Facebook stream. If you miss out on the stream, you miss so much, man. You really do. You miss so much. During the break, I shared a video that came across my Twitter feed earlier this morning from a Texas A&M game from a few years back. I've told you guys that Texas A&M is a cult. Texas A&M is a cult. All right, they just are. And some of the Aggies fans are some of the nicest people that I've ever met. They're genuinely nice people. They really are. But the fandom is a cult, right? Go watch videos of their yell practices. I retweeted a couple yesterday. Twitter.com/The Rob Brown Show. Subscribe or follow while you're there. But But I just found a video, and I don't know if they still do it, but they totally still do it, of a group of the Yell leaders. The Yell leaders all standing in a line together. The Yell leaders, with a minute left to go, down 3 to Texas Tech. And again, it's been a handful of years, but like I said, they probably still do it. The Yell leaders in a game against Texas Tech all stand in a line, bits to bits, take both of their hands, reach down, squeeze their dude regions as hard as they can in order to share the pain that the football team is going through in the grueling moments of this football game. It's pretty spectacular. You got
Spectacular is not the word I would use.
it is spectacular in that it is a spectacle.
All right, from that, I get that.
I'm using spectacular in the most literal sense of the word.
It's stupid, and it's one of those things where if you're in a position where they say you have to do this, you go, I'm not doing that.
Guys, I love my football teams. I do. You can check with the lady friend. We went out and watched the Saints game in public on Sunday, something we don't often do. We went out and watched the football game on Sunday. The New Orleans Saints find themselves in a spot where they need about a 55-yard game-winning field goal to put away their heated rivals, the Atlanta Falcons. Lonzo, I literally, as that kick went up, stood up from the bar stool that I was in. I was pacing the bar, a busy bar, by the way, pacing the bar, getting ready for the field goal. When the special teams unit got lined up, I went to the back of the bar stool. I ducked down behind it. I had my hands on the top of the back of the chair and my head just resting on it. Like bubble guts. Hoping this kick was going to go through, right? I get it. I get doing silly things in name of fandom. I've got a friend back home who will not, once he wears a shirt and his team wins, will not wash that shirt and wears it every game until his team loses, right? Won't wash it. We've all got the buddy with lucky socks. We've all got the guy that will eat the same food every Sunday for a month because his team's on a hot streak. We get it. I got no issue with it. I understand it. There is not, short of some celestial entity guaranteeing me it would win me a Super Bowl, not a situation as a fan where I would have ever thought, you know, the team is out there and they're struggling and they're fighting and they're hurting and things aren't going the right way right now. What can I do to help? Oh, I've got an idea. Let me grab my junk and just squeeze it as hard as I can until my face turns red and I shout in pain. That ought to push us over the edge, right? That ought to take us to the next level, right? No, dude. What are y'all doing? That is cult behavior, right? You only do that if you, in your heart of hearts, believe some supernatural entity has been like, there will be a eternity worth of pleasure beyond your ultimate dreams as long as you will reach down betwixt your legs, grab the twig and berries, and squeeze them as if you are trying to turn coal into a diamond. You weirdos.
Really trying to figure out how I put this on the chapters in the podcast, how I label this segment. I'm not quite sure. I don't know that I need help with that, but still, I'm a little concerned. You and I both were in fraternities.
Yep.
If your fraternity asked you to do that, would you still have been in that fraternity?
No.
Same here. No, thank you.
I walked on one. I was about to join a
You
fraternity.
Okay, you walked on a
I
fraternity.
walked out of a fraternity.
Yeah, okay.
I was a pledge in a fraternity. I'll give you a little backstory. Hope I don't get too much trouble. I'm not going to tell you which one, but I was set to join a very cool kids fraternity on campus, and we showed up for our initiation. I had already gone through the pledging process. I had worn the pin. We showed up for initiation. I'm like, oh, initiation night. This is going to be fun, right? This is going to be great. Can't wait for this. Showed up. They walked us into the backyard of the fraternity house and laid out on the ground lawns. It was a tarp. And I'm like, all right. And then they had all the brothers one by one stand on the top of the hill and urinate on the tarp. And the initiation was to slide down the tarp, and when you came up off the tarp at the bottom, they would give you your pin or whatever to symbolize that you were now a brother. I walked right out. The guy's like, the pledge master's like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm out. He's like, no, man, you can't be out. You're already done. I'm like, no, I'm not done. I'm not doing this. Like, there had been other hazing, but the other hazing was like the brothers would come to your apartment at 5 a.m. and wake you up, and you had to go on a jog with them. Or you had to go to a bar and introduce yourself to a woman the brothers picked, and they would give you a stupid pickup line to use. All right, fine. I got a problem with that. It's embarrassing, but whatever. They know what's going on. They all stood on top of a tarp on the top of a little rolling hill. They all urinated on it and then expected us to. And the thing is, there were 22, 21, 20 pledges. I was the only one who walked out. Everybody else did it, including my very best friend from high school. My very best, a kid that my mom and dad, because he didn't have a ton, my mom and dad forked up his security deposit and first month's rent so that he and I could share an apartment together so that we wouldn't be like alone on campus our first year at college. I was never able to look at that dude the same way again. Every time I saw him, all I could think was, I can't shake your hand, dude. We had like this fun multi-step bro handshake we did in high school and brought it to college. I'm like, I can't do it. I know where that hand's been. And it's gross. I'm not doing it. Right? I walk. I promise you, if I'm in a stadium and they're like, all right, dude, to support the team, we all punch ourselves in the gonads. I don't support this team, I guess. I don't support this team anymore. That is dumb as hell. James said, that's a lot of support for a program that gets 8 to 9 wins a year.
You think if they had to up it, if they were winning more games, what would they do then?
I really hope that there were like 1,000 dudes that left Kyle Field on Saturday, not just with the sore pride in being beat by Appalachian State, but with sore junk from doing that to themselves. You weirdos. You weirdos. Back after this to wrap up hour 2 of the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
I need to decide, do I need to go back through everybody else's chapters and see who's doing it wrong so I can talk to them about doing it right? How would you label it? What you just talked about. They're already overly scrutinizing this now. Do I just go right and be
Footballs. Rob talks about footballs.
No,
I don't know is the answer.
no. All right, let's see if I get in trouble for this.
What are you going with?
Is genital punching tradition or stupid?
Amazing.
Where'd he go? Why did he leave? No. Goofball. Well, crud. That's what we call improvisation. You left as the break ended.
Oh, really?
So I had to
I really thought that was a longer break.
it was, but it was the end of that break.
That's on me.
Yeah. It's like what I
like,
just
I
stopped and
gotta
looked at the
admit.
clock like, oh no. You're already out. So I mean, you know.
We got a date, kids. December 3rd, Anthony Joshua challenges WCB World Heavyweight Champion Tyson Fury. The fight expected to take place at Principality Stadium in Cardiff, Wales. Joshua's management company said in a Twitter post, 258, that's the name of the company. 258 and Matchroom Boxing can confirm on behalf of Anthony Joshua that we accepted all terms presented to us by Fury's team for a fight December 3rd, last Friday. Due to the Queen's passing, it was agreed to halt all communication. We are awaiting a response. By the way, the Premier League canceled a bunch of really, really good matches because of the passing of the Queen. Can I tell you guys, listen, I feel for the family. She lived an exceptional life, all that good stuff. I don't care. I don't care. Why are we putting the entire sports world on hold for that? I don't get it. Maybe I'm a selfish jerk.
Yeah, but you don't live there, so you don't understand the importance to probably the people who do live there.
I wouldn't if I did. Like, congratulations, your parents did it once, and now you live a luxury lifestyle in a giant house, paying no taxes and taking taxes from other people because why? And now we have to pause the country for 2 weeks because you died?
Sorry, after last segment, and then you're talking about the Queen, and all I can think of is family jewels. I don't know why. I don't know why. I hear they're real expensive.
It's beginning to look a lot like I've corrupted Lonzo a little bit. I like it. Anyway, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. Hype match. Big match. Exactly the match boxing needs. Exactly the match that boxing needs.
Not being negative here, but I'll believe it's going to happen when it happens.
When it happens, yeah.
Because someone could retire again. I mean, a lot of things could happen.
Tyson Fury has retired and I'm retired in the last 12 minutes.
Or WWE makes him a better offer.
Yeah.
I mean, you know. But at least he's going to get to sing again in Cardiff. So, I mean,
God,
I'm down for that.
Stupid. So stupid. Tyson Fury, when he fought Dylan White, brought in about $31 million. I suspect WWE's not handing him 31 mil. And if they do, it'll be for like 2 years worth of work, not a night. Now, granted, that was against Dylan White, and there was an 80-20 split to that purse, and this is 60-40, so it might come all the way down to like 27 mil.
Hey, I'm suddenly not feeling well. I think I'm going to have to leave.
Are you retiring?
I think I may have to leave before 11 o'clock.
Why's that? Not feeling good?
I'm not feeling well.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I need to leave.
Well, it's too bad. Well, I'll tell you what, we can just do the boo box now if you want. So you can take off. If you need me to fill in the last hour of the show, I can do that. Just go ahead and...
No, we don't have time. I got stuff to do right now before I get ill and leave.
You can't leave for 6 more minutes. You gotta make sure we get to the top of the hour.
Yeah, I do. All
When
right.
we come back to open up the next hour, Lonzo goes back to the boo box. A horrendous week of picks for Lonzo. Leaves him going on a 2-loss streak. And Lonzo will draw his punishment out of the boo box. That's next. You have 6 minutes to get your boo box punishment suggestions in to be considered for entrance into the box before the punishment is drawn to start the next hour. If you got a boo box punishment, send it to 71307. Start that text with fan. The boo box is next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. That tickle in your throat when, like, you gotta cough, but you won't cough. It just tickles.
It's very annoying, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Gino. A clerical error? I don't wanna.
Texture says Lonzo has to wear Crocs and go out in public. Like, that's not that bad.
It's not really that bad. I'm not you're wearing jorts. You're wearing Crocs. I don't care. Wear whatever you want to wear. I don't. Let other people be arbiters. I don't care. What a mistake WWE made with that.
With what?
Because you can't have your heel being chanted all the time. It poses a
I think
problem
he's about to turn face.
because you want him to be booed.
I think he's about to turn
Oh,
face.
not with what he did last night.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. No, Steven, I don't know every punishment in the box. I do know some of them, though, because some of them were suggested by you, the listeners. Well, actually, probably the majority of them were suggested by you, the listeners. Rob could have came up with some stuff and thrown it in there, though. I mean, I don't know. He does, work with me quite a bit, and we do share an office, so he does have some ideas about things that I don't really like.
I don't think I added anything that I didn't run by you.
Okay.
I don't think.
It's still going to be a surprise because I don't know what I'm picking. Nor do I want to pick it. My arthritis has been acting up a lot lately. I'm not sure that I could pick anything out of the box. Now, Rob can say he could pick for me, but that's not me picking, so that don't count. Harley in the first break.
10-4.
Whatever it is, it probably won't get me as much ridicule or attention as last week did. I hope. No more screenshots.
Yeah. Texter says Lonzo has to wear a bolo tie, cowboy boots, and a hat. You know what? I did not put cowboy for a day in the box. Find a little slip of scrap paper.
You can't do that now. It's out. You said till
Oh, wait, this is
11, and
No, I said till you draw.
No. You said till 11. You absolutely said till 11, and I'm going to keep talking till it's 11:01, which I just did. So you can't put that in there.
Oh, there's
You
two-
can't do that. It's too big anyway. It can go in there for next week when I lose next week. I mean, because we know I'm going to lose next week, so why
For the
not?
record, if I was you, I would absolutely let that go in there because the list of punishments that you would want to do less than wear a cowboy hat.
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like expensive because I don't have a hat. And we discussed the fact of how people don't like to lend hats. And yes, I know you have one, but I don't want to wear your hat.
I will get you.
You are not going to go out and buy me a cowboy hat.
No, you can buy cheap cowboy hats.
Can you?
Yeah.
I don't think you can.
I'll get you a Bret Michaels style straw woven cowboy hat.
Which will work well with my look,
I'll leave it-
but
I'll-
that's not really a cowboy, is it?
I'll leave it off for today. That's fine. I'll leave it off for today.
Because then I will break out into every rose has a thorn, continuously. That is a totally different group, and that's not funny. I'm so glad you can't whistle well.
I really can't. Welcome back. The third, the final, the best, the money hour. What is Russ? Did Russ come out in a whole ass wedding tuxedo for his post game presser?
Well, that's what he.
I went to bed.
That's what he came to the game in.
Russ showed up like he was, I don't know, like he was going to a postmodern millennial wedding, like an aquamarine shiny tux and big old bow tie.
Yeah, he wore that to the arena.
I got no problem with Drip, my guy, but I don't know.
Hey Trey, $20 is out of my range, man.
They really do. They do have some good hats. I've got one from there, as a matter of fact. It's a true story. All right. So
They don't have Spurs though, do they? Because or and the other thing, cowboy boots. I ain't buying no cowboy boots
why?
because I ain't a cowboy.
You don't
That's
need 'em.
why.
It's for they're called boat kickers. You gotta have a good boat kickers would be good for you working around the compound, man.
Nah.
Yeah.
You need compound boots for that.
That's what boot
You
kickers
got to
are.
have steel toes. They got to be reinforced in case the cows or the horses step on you.
Can't have cowboy boots working around the
Absolutely,
cows.
absolutely not.
That wouldn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
So here's how our Boo Box Bets picks played out this weekend.
Stop it, Trey.
Alabama minus 20.5. We both had the Crimson Tide. They snuck out with a dub 2019. We both lost on that one. 0-1. South Carolina at Arkansas. The Razorbacks were minus 8.5. I took them to cover it up. Lonzo said South Carolina would be inside 8.5. They were not. 14-point victory for the Hogs, 44-30. 1-1 for me, 0-2 for Zoe. Carolina, minus 7.5 at Georgia State. I took Georgia State to be inside 7.5. They won by 7, 35-28. That is 2-1 for Rob, 0-3 for Lonzo. Tennessee was minus 6 at Pitt. They win by 7 and covered up. We both had the Volunteers. That, of course, has Rob opening at 3-1, Lonzo at 1-3. At Appalachian State, at Texas A&M, the Aggies, minus 19.5 in that one, and they lost outright, 17-14. Rob goes 3-2 in college picks. Lonzo goes 1-4 on the college ranks and fared no better in the National Football League. We both had the Finns to cover up the Patriots. They did so 20-7. We both had the Bengals to outpace the Steelers by 6.5 or better. They lost outright by 3. We both had the Jags to outright beat the Commanders. They were 2.5-point favorites, were Washington, and they won 28-22, so they covered it up. New Orleans, 5.5-point favorites at Atlanta. The Saints did win, but did not cover. 27-26, your final. And finally, Las Vegas at Los Angeles. The Chargers, minus 3.5. They won 24-13, covering it up by 1.5 points. Rob had the Chargers. Zoe had the Raiders. So Lonzo goes 1-4 in college, 1-4 in the NFL. Rob went 3-2 in college and 2-3 in the NFL. On the week, I finished up at 5-5. Lonzo finished up with his worst performance in 2 years with a 2-8 week. That's tough. That's tough. On the season, Rob Brown checks in at 11-9 against the spread. Lonzo is 7-13 against the spread. That's rough. That's it. You can have a bounce back week. You're going to have a week where you go 8-2, and you're going to get it right back. But that's a rough week. So, if you have not followed, it is time for Lonzo to reach into the boo box. Right here in front of me is a New Day Bootios boo box. Inside of this boo box are about 10 slips of paper on which each is written a punishment that Lonzo will have until next Monday to complete. He has through next Monday to complete whatever punishment that he draws. If he fails to pay off the punishment, he will then forfeit next week and draw and have to perform both of those punishments by the week after that. The only rule to this game is that if either one of us loses 5 consecutive weeks, the boo box is done. There is no point in further torturing either host. Lonzo is now on a 2-game losing streak. Rob's on a 2-week winning streak at this point. So Lonzo will now reach into the boo box. Here, I'll let you shake it up. The boo box has been in my sole possession since last week, so no punishments have been added nor removed from the boo box. Are you ready, sir? I mean, I know you're not.
Made a boo-boo.
I did.
The boo box.
Holy crap.
This is screwed up.
The loser will be taunted and booed until my throat is sore.
Yeah, I'll bet on it.
Wrong. Try again. Loser.
Uh-oh, someone's in trouble.
This just makes it worse. It really does.
love it.
It makes it so much worse.
Lonzo going for another shake of the Bootios boo box. Getting the punishments well mixed
I hope someone
up.
thinks they have a flat.
The box has been open. Lonzo reaching inside of the box, going with the right hand this afternoon. The scraps of paper are being mixed up. Lonzo is removing his punishment for the week. I will take back the boo box, and the punishment, Lonzo, is that he's quitting the show, apparently. No way! No way! He drew it! I will reveal the punishment on the stream before I reveal it on the air, ladies and gentlemen.
You got to be kidding me.
Lonzo, I could be wrong, but I have believe that you have just selected in back-to-back weeks the top 2 punishments that you did not want to draw, correct? Is that right?
By the way, this is the number one
This
that
was
I
it?
didn't want
This was
to
the
draw.
one?
Yes.
This was the
Yes.
one.
Yes. Whatever, dude.
This is the one
Quit getting happy because you picked it.
that Lonzo wanted to avoid from the beginning. This is the one that he has done his best to try to avoid. This is a punishment that he has spoken out against since well before this was ever even a segment, ladies and gentlemen. He has a personal vendetta against people who elect to do this to themselves voluntarily. And now, with a little bit of assistance from our friend Kristen down in sales, Lonzo will, between now and next Monday, ladies and gentlemen, be wearing a man bun for a day.
Wow.
As
Wow.
James just said on the stream, oh dear.
Now I know to everyone else, this is not nearly as big of a deal as me having to wear Clemson, but to me, this is a big deal. This is something I said I would never do. Because if you're a man bun guy, that's fine. I am not, and I know. I'm going to look like my mamaw when I have this on. It's exactly what I'm going to look like.
The question is, what accompanies the man bun? You're going to go like a flannel shirt and do the whole experience? Are you going to shave the beard or grow it out longer?
Yeah, that's really going to happen by the end of the week or whenever.
You got till Monday?
No, I would like this done tomorrow.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would like this done tomorrow.
get it over
if it's
with.
possible, yes. Tomorrow, I mean, as soon as we possibly can, because it has to be for an entire show.
Yeah.
But it also is going to be put in during the show. So you got to make
we will
sure.
open the show.
Yeah,
with it.
yeah. So, I mean, all the more reason to tune in whatever day we decide to do it.
I will talk to the people who will be assisting us in this endeavor. I will even.
How can
go
I
so
draw
far-
those two things
back
2
to
weeks?
back.
Oh. No, stop it.
I mean, you have options here, Zoe. You could go with the. Let's see here. You could go with the high top man bun if you wanted to. Set it way up on top. Let the headphones rest against.
You
them.
know what I think? I think my definition of a man bun and your definition are two totally different things.
Is that not a man bun to you? What is that to you?
I'm not saying.
This one? I mean, that's not bad.
Are-
It's kind of a relaxed man bun, a little looser in the back.
So you consider that a bun?
No. Let me see if I see. I would say. I mean, I definitely would say that is maybe that one. I mean, that looks just like a tight ponytail.
It's just a looped ponytail.
Yeah?
That's not even a yeah.
Are you looking more like that? Like, is that your definition? I mean, listen.
So you looked up man bun and that's what showed up.
This is what's come up.
Okay, all right.
The Code of Man Integrity, Lonzo, says that you must pick. You have to do whatever your definition of a man bun is. Like that one, is that a man bun to you?
It's not up to. I didn't lose.
Is
I mean,
that-
I don't pick. All right. I'm really confused here. I picked the punishment. Unfortunately, I will not define what the punishment is. That is up to you and others. Because I could take the easy way out and go, yeah, that's a man bun to me. When I may only see like one that I would consider a man bun, and I'm not telling you which one it is.
It's that one. For those of you not on the stream with us at facebook.com/thefan-upstate, I just Googled man bun, went to images of man buns. I was trying to give Lonzo options, but Lonzo and his disdain for selecting here's the good news. The good news is it's pretty easy coasting for the rest of the way out for you. Everything left in here is stuff that you're like, yeah, all right. I
Oh
don't
no,
love
there's
it.
still if the song thing is still in there.
Oh yeah, that one is in there.
That could be bad, especially if someone is smart enough to pick a certain style of music.
Oh, it's just gonna be a Bryan Adams song. The style of music
Oh,
is
there's-
in the style of
There-
Bryan Adams.
There's something worse.
Than Bryan Adams?
A certain style of music that I absolutely hate.
Boy band.
No. See, it shows you how much he pays attention. I bet everyone
it's
on.
country music.
There we go.
Yeah, I
There we
know.
go. Yeah.
I only play an idiot on
Yeah.
TV.
He doesn't. Well, anyway, I would kill country. That's why you
That
don't want
one?
to put that on there.
That one's not bad. A little awkward. That's the one, isn't it? That's the one. It's the samurai top knot style that you are very anti, I think.
Just look at that dude's face. No. All right, so I got to say, the fact that Rob is taking such great pleasure, this is how it should be. Is that George W. Bush with a?
Yeah.
with the-
There's a bunch of
Okay, all right.
photoshops of famous people. I saw one earlier that was there it is. Donald Trump rocking the man bun next to Abraham Lincoln rocking the man bun.
all right, the W actually looked kind of natural. The other ones do not.
So, Lonzo it is only fitting, his worst week of picks ever, and then draws the most hated punishment out of the Boo Box. It's only fair that the universe rewarded your worst pick ever with your worst punishment.
I got to say you're right about that, but there's nothing in your box should you lose as bad as my first two picks. There's nothing. Even the beer straw. Not nearly
Hot
as
dog
bad.
straw's pretty bad.
Yeah, but it's not me wearing orange or a man bun.
Mad World, I would say, is up there for me. Seriously.
Yeah, but at least with Mad
Think about
World,
how mad I get when you one time turn a corner and jump scare me, and now that, but for 3 hours.
yeah, it won't be 3 hours. And here's the other thing with Mad World, you get to bring pleasure to a lot of other people. I guess you could say I did that last Friday.
And you're about to do it again. So the email will go out after the show to all of the young women in the office asking them which of them can show up tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday and assist in putting Lonzo's hair into a top-knot man bun.
See, they've also got to agree to be on the stream while doing it. I mean, I guess their face doesn't have to be pictured, but still.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll figure it out. I think that's the one right there. I think that's got to be it right there. Oh, man.
I hate social media. I hate the fact that some of these things will live forever.
I am less and less looking forward to taking my first loss at this point.
We all know that I'm doing this 5 weeks in a row and this thing's over. We know.
You honestly think I'm going 5-0?
I think what you're going to do, you're going to start feeling sorry and just try to go
Oh, no.
crazy
No.
and make some picks just so you can lose, so this thing continues.
When you agreed to add Mad World in there, you got rid of any chance that I tank. When you added Mad World in there, you got rid of any chance. I might have tanked and risked the hot dog straw. I do not perform music unless I'm in the band, and in mine is perform a song live on air, which I don't want to do at all. I have no interest in doing that. I have negative interest in doing that. But when you added not just when you added Mad World Visit, but then when you were like, I'm going to come there and watch that. I got to see that. I was like, okay.
Usually
all right.
I get upset when you depict me in a certain way, but that was me for sure. Without a doubt, that was me. I wonder if Rob should lose if there's actually a chemtrail song out there.
For the record, I was going with you get to pick the song you perform.
No, that's not how that works.
Because I want to do so. If I'm gonna do it, I want to do something I can play with my guitar. I want to at least give myself a shot at not humiliating myself.
I was going to say, if it's something that you need to play, I'll find you a 3/4. You'll be all right.
I can like pick it that's in a key I know. Like I'm not trying to humiliate
You can
myself
put
entirely.
you can put any song in a key you know. In my case, I'm going to have to karaoke it.
You know, you can, for the record, you are the one that was like, and you guys can pick it. You said that, not
which
me.
is more of a punishment. Why would just like with this man bun thing? Why would I get to pick it? That does. I mean, of course I'm going to pick the least offensive for me. The same with the song. It makes it more punishment if someone else picks it.
The email goes out after the show to find which of the young women in the office will be ready, capable, willing, and able to come up as soon as I get confirmation that one of them is available and which day they are. I will put it out on the social media so that you can all come hang out on the stream and see Samurai Lonzo. I'm pretty excited about it. When Lonzo added Rob Visits Mad World into my box, he gave away any shot that I might have tanked a week to kind of make it more fun for everybody. Because there is a 10% chance. No, yeah, 10% chance, because I think there's 10 in my box still. There's a 10% chance I would draw Mad World, a 10% chance that I would draw Hot Dog Straw, a 10% chance that I would have to perform a song live on the radio. That is 30% chance of things that I hate. I cringe at the idea of doing. I am not tanking a week. But, as I have said, the picks, the games we're gonna get, the games we are going to pick, get picked Friday, exactly half an hour before we go on the air. Lonzo and I have the same amount of preparation time to put our picks together. You would better believe that I'm going to be putting extra work into making sure that I don't tank. The good news for Zoe is worst punishments 1 and 2 are now both out of play because they do not go back in the box.
Just looking at the stream, State Farm Rogers double man bun. I just
Man bun for a day. James said, go with the Wardlow look.
I would go with the Wardlow look if I get to do the power bombs afterwards.
You pick the punishment, not me. Not me. Skrilla said, this is the day that Lonzo died inside and out. Let me tell you guys, for that,
So that really happened a couple years ago, but now I'm in a different time slot.
for those of you not in the studio, Lonzo Drew read the slip, slammed it down on the desk, took off his headset, went full surrender cobra, and walked out from behind the desk out into the main part of the studio, and then just like stood out the window as if time stood still and a sad echo of music began ringing out in his head before he made his way back over to the desk and all but threw the punishment slip at me.
And it was, this is the end, my fateful friend. The end.
Hello, silence, my old friend.
That's a totally different song.
Yeah, I am aware. I just didn't know what you were doing, so I went with something else.
The Doors. No, nothing more remorseful and
Morrison, baby.
yeah than that.
All right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Boo Box rewards Lonzo's worst week of picks
Rewards. It's not a reward.
The Boo Box punishes Lonzo's worst week of picks in history with his #1 most hated punishment from the Boo Box. Man bun for a day. When we get confirmation of which day someone will be available to help with that, I will put it on social media so you can all come visit the stream. Back after this on The Rob Brown Show. It's the Fan Upstate.
James, the Incredible Hulk theme, while sad, is always played when he's leaving. Although you're right. I may have looked out the window. I left the microphone, so never mind. It would have been appropriate. And Trey, I will be like Masse. Forget how they say Mansours, but I mean, what are the odds that I picked the two worst ones in a row? I mean, none of them are good, but the fact that I picked the two worst ones in a row, what are the odds of that? It's like the odds of me ever winning a week. Now, see, even though this bothers me a whole lot, my wife will think this one's funny. Last week, she did not. So, I mean, my daughter will think this one's funny.
Like, everybody but you's going to think this
Oh, my son won't think it's funny. By the way, you know what day it is?
It's Tuesday, isn't it? Well, put it off till tomorrow. I screwed this up on time, but it was worth it. Unless it's too late.
Oh, no, I can take it out. I have no problem with taking it out.
We'll do it tomorrow.
Sure we will.
I'll give you the day off from this entire hour killing you.
Sure we will. None of that for the week. 2 out of 11 odds. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate that. No, if I win MJF, I would still not be in the room.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob and Lonzo for at least another 29 minutes. Lonzo draws his most hated 2 punishments in weeks 1 and 2. The good news, though, is there's really not, I mean, there's some stuff in here you're not going to love. But I think you've gotten the stuff you're going to hate out of the way, right? Man bun.
But there's nothing in there that I'm going to go, oh, yeah, I'm good with this.
Yeah. They're punishments for sure. But the ones that would make you, I don't know, throw your headset off and walk out.
I don't know. The Brady jersey's still in there. The Brady or Michigan's still in there. But the 2 worst, yeah.
The 2 worst are out.
Yeah.
Would you rather, if I allowed you to trade, I'm not, but if I allowed you to trade man bun for a day for finish a jar of Duke's Mayo over 3 hours, which one of those would you prefer?
I would go with the mayonnaise, but here's the thing. I would never agree to that because we agreed at the beginning of this. I drew out the punishment. I'm going to take the punishment. I pay up my bets.
But if you had the choice.
If I had a choice, I'd pick the mayonnaise.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Like, I'm anti-shave my head, right? I'm not going to shave my head because my head's horrifically large.
Yeah.
Deceptively large.
Mine is full of scars. It would be. Well,
yeah. I look like a horror movie with my head shaved, right? But if shave your head was in the box, and it's not, and it won't be for the record, but if shave my head was in the box, I would shave my head before I go to Mad World, right? Like, that's how much I don't look forward to that if I have to, if I end up drawing it. That's how much I don't look forward to that. That's the man bun for you. Skrilla said, "This is so much fun for everyone but Lonzo. Love you, buddy."
Right back at you.
Oh, man. The boo box is not kind. It is not your friend. It is no one's friends. That is why it's the Boo Box.
The question is, will this happen again next year? I don't know. It's going to depend on if I lose 5 in a row.
I was going to say,
if it's done, then it's probably done forever, right?
If you go 0-5 and we kill Boo Box for this year because you went 0-5, do you participate next year on a redemption tour?
Yeah, I'll participate. And then I'll take 5 punishments and it'll be canceled again.
All right, let me get this in real quick. We have a legit player rivalry developing in the National Football League right now. Leonard Fournette is a running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And playoff Lenny threw a block on Dallas Cowboy linebacker Micah Parsons. Now, Micah Parsons is a beast. Dude is good. No arguing about that. Micah Parsons is fantastic. Parsons, during a passing play in Sunday night's contest with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, was being blocked by a left tackle when Leonard Fournette came out. Here's the video, Zoe. I don't know if you've seen this yet. They're showing the block. Leonard Fournette. So Micah Parsons comes off the right side, gets locked up with the left tackle. The left tackle has Parsons in a block. Fournette comes up and chip blocks him. And, I mean, puts the shoulder into Micah Parsons' shoulder and just flatbacks him, sends him sprawling backwards.
Didn't do anything illegal. I mean, that's
nothing that violated the rules. Right. Leonard Fournette tweeted out that clip. Parsons responded shortly after midnight on Monday, quote, "Now go watch the tape and see what happened when it was me and him one-on-one. You hit someone not looking you straight. P word for female anatomy." Early Monday afternoon, Fournette responded to that tweet with a gif of crying Michael Jordan, which is prime meme response from Playoff Lenny. Playoff Lenny dropped the meme bomb on Micah Parsons. Well, Von Miller, who I think, Lonzo, is one of the more respected players in the league, said that such blocks while rushers are engaged with an offensive lineman, quote, "must be taken out of the game. This is the future, and we are just letting the offense tee off on our marquee pass rushers. You can get the job done without this much contact," end quote. So I have always been the dude that kind of chuckles when boomers go, "back in the NFL in my day," and talk about how much better the league was when guys were allowed to JBL clothesline from hell other dudes. Guys were allowed to just put a shot into the face mask of quarterbacks, et cetera, et cetera. I always chuckle at that.
Yeah, I'm smiling right now.
I know, I see it. But I am a little shocked with Von Miller's sentence, "This is the future, and we are just letting the offense tee off on our marquee pass rushers." Like, Von, what? Are you arguing there should only be one blocker allowed per pass rusher? No. Tackles and guards can't double team elite defensive ends anymore because they're marquee pass rushers? No. If you're a marquee pass rusher, you should be double teamed. Hell, you should be triple teamed. Carolina should have double teamed Myles Garrett more than they did. What? I don't understand. Yeah, it was a hard hit. It was a violent hit. I'm not arguing that it wasn't. But I was a little taken aback by Von Miller saying, "No, you shouldn't be allowed to block pass rushers hard." What? Which is hilarious because I fully suspect, entirely suspect, that if Von Miller hit a quarterback and grazed the front of the quarterback's helmet and got a 15-yard roughing the passer, he would go, "Oh, why don't we put flags on him next time? Why don't we replace the quarterback's pants with skirts next time?" Right? I don't get it. I don't get it, Vaughn. I don't understand. Like, what's your problem? Micah got hit, and it knocked him on his ass. You know what other football player has been knocked on his ass? All of them. That's how football works, my guy. Like, what's illegal about what playoff Lenny did? Parsons was there. He was on the edge. Lenny put a shoulder on him and popped him onto his backside. What's the problem? I don't understand what you're mad at. What are you mad at? That's football, guy. That's how the game works. If there is a defensive end or a linebacker who is rushing the QB and has even a chance to get to him, Lonzo, what's the running back's job in a pass protection scheme?
To block anyone who gets past the offensive line.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure that I hadn't, forgotten everything that I thought I knew about football in the last 8 minutes.
Just mad because obviously he meant it when he hit him. It
Yeah.
wasn't routine. There was some malice behind it.
Yeah, oh no, he saw an opening to flatback somebody.
He embarrassed him is what he did.
Let me ask you a question. So you and I both played on both sides of the line of scrimmage. If you were an offensive lineman, let's say a pulling guard, and, you come up out of the 3-point or the 4-point from the left guard, and you turn and you get behind the center, and as you're coming down the line, you see the defensive end, and he steps up, and he's right on the line of scrimmage, and his eyes are in the backfield, and you see the side of the helmet. Do you think, I probably shouldn't hit him too hard. It might be too violent. Or do you go,
Yeah, that one. That one. By the way, in college, I was a pulling guard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's an awesome feeling
yeah,
as long as you don't miss.
yeah. I played a little offensive tackle tight end for a while. And I got pretty excited when I was a pulling tackle and the guard picked off the first guy, and I turned up in the hole with the running back in my pocket and saw a linebacker whose eyes were in the backfield. Because I'm about to put this guy on his back. Helmet sticker, please, coach. Slap that little arrow onto the back of my helmet if you don't mind for this pancake which I'm about to serve. Micah, you got pancaked. You know which other linebackers have gotten flatbacked? Everyone who's ever played the game of football at that position. It happened. Like, what are you mad about, my dude? We shouldn't allow running backs to block? Well, he's already engaged. Oh, 1 blocker per defender. I didn't read that in the rule book. I must have missed that. MLB just changed their rules to ban the defensive shift permanently. So I guess it makes sense that the NFL needs a rule to make it harder for defenses to play defense or offenses to play offense. I don't know. No chip blocking from running backs on engaged defenders. So I just gotta let Myles Garrett have free run at my QB if he beats the tackle, or I gotta wait for him to beat the tackle, right? You imagine the running back, playoff Lenny's back there with Tommy 12 trophies or whatever, and Tommy takes a snap, and Fournette sets down in pass pro, and he looks left end, tackle, right end, tackle, left end. Which one of those guys is going to beat his blocker first so that I can block them? Because I can't block him if there's already a guy blocking him. What are you talking about, Micah? I really like Micah Parsons. I really like him as a player. But this is bad. And Vaughn getting involved is shocking. If you ask me what linebacker was going to come out in support of Micah Parsons, Von Miller would have never been a guess. Come back and wrap this bad boy up. Ron Lonzo and you. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. This is the Man Bun Upstate.
All right, I wasn't going to point out that you called yourself Ron until you had to go man bun. Lisa, if you page up through the comments, you'll see.
All right, step one if you become a professional wrestler is demand an entrance song that has a rhythm that fans can sing, right?
Unless you're a heel. I think it's a bad move if you're a heel.
Well, they did that with Shinsuke, right? Like they changed his music to where you couldn't sing with it anymore.
My wife would like to know what my punishment is. I'm not telling her.
She wasn't watching anymore?
No, I told her just page up through the comments and she'll figure it out. Yes. Yes, unfortunately. Yes. That's the beginning of it, Trey. That's the root of it. But also, he's a cheater. And he's also a system quarterback, which people just have put all this praise on. Don't thank him for that.
I didn't pick it.
little early on Twitter trending topics before we get to what's trending. Don't forget to download Views from Mint Street. A new one dropped yesterday.
Yep.
A new one's going to drop tomorrow.
Yep.
And you need to download it, check it out. Rob
You're
and
a
I.
fan of Lonzo or the Carolina Panthers, it is the podcast to download. Available where podcasts are found: Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Apple iTunes, or free on the Odyssey app. It is called Views from Mint Street. Lonzo and I take you through the world of Carolina Panther football. We'll be dropping an episode tomorrow that we record today, and then we'll record another one Thursday that'll drop Friday, which will be a preview of the matchup against the Giants.
I've been chastised about the fact that we don't tease that enough.
Well, let's
So-
do it again. Views from Mint
There
Street,
we
available
go.
where major podcasts are found, hosted by Lonzo Wrightsell and me, Rob Brown.
You need to pause between the.
Lonzo Wrightsell.
No, right. Sell.
Oh, yeah, true.
That's how he sold it.
Lorenzo.
All right. Let's get to Twitter trending topics. The first thing that's trending is Matt Rule.
Matt Rule is trending, ladies and gentlemen, because Matt Rule is more and more frequently being pitched as a potential replacement for Scott Frost at the University of Nebraska. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing that does happen, which is somebody floats the name, and then 1,000 fan sites start going, sources say that Matt Rule is being considered because they saw it on one other dude's website, right? Sources say. Matt Rule's not going anywhere, at least not right now. This dude is committed to trying to figure it out at the National Football League level. And Lonzo and I both feel that he will finish this season out regardless of what happens. We differ on whether or not he makes it to next year's week 1, but he's not going to be at Nebraska. That's my pick.
All right. The next thing that's trending is Sean Payton.
Sean Payton is trending because there are more and more expectations that Sean Payton will be back in the National Football League. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, the expectations, I got a buddy of mine, my old mentor, big Cowboys fan, who continuously is sending me stuff about Sean Payton's going to Dallas, Sean Payton's going to Dallas, Sean Payton's going to Dallas. And I get the hype about that, but I doubt it. Because Sean Payton at New Orleans had entire institutional control. He basically would talk to Mickey Loomis, the GM, and go, I want this guy, I don't want that guy. And Mickey would make it happen for him. Jerry ain't about that life. Jerry ain't about to hand over full and complete institutional control. Where does he end up? It's also not Miami, right? That's a lot of people's thought, is that he'll end up at Miami. But Mike McDaniel's at Miami, and after they smoked New England, Miami fans are very high on Mike McDaniel now. I'm not, first off, fully convinced Sean Payton is coming back. He was on Fox's pregame show on Sunday, and for the record, I like Sean. Not very good, to be honest with you. There's a chance he comes back. I don't know where it is, though.
All right. Sean Payton is trending because of the comments he had about Patrick Mahomes.
What did he say about Patty Ice?
The best quarterback, college quarterback that he had ever seen, I believe, is the quote.
I'm not mad about it.
Yeah. Also, did you know he had 5 touchdowns without Tyreek Hill?
I heard that.
Sunday.
I heard that.
All right, we got time for one more. The cult of personality
Texas
is trending.
A&M. How about that?
Yeah, no, it's not the cult. It's cult of personality.
Oh,
I said it
gotcha.
wrong. I said it wrong.
This AEW thing's so wild. So the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega did not do a Being the Elite vlog this week. They said it is postponed until further notice. Now, one of two things is happening. Either it's a work, and we are all getting worked magnificently, but I can't imagine you're taking your best players off the air for a work.
By the way, Kenny sent out a response video. You need to look at it because it looks like he's working at Target. That's not why it's trending.
Those dudes are genuinely funny.
It's not. It's trending because they played the song over a Aaron Rodgers promo, and for some reason people think that's funny, and
It's
it caused it to
hilarious.
trend.
It's absolutely hilarious.
I don't get it.
Aaron Rodgers is a cult of personality. Best in the world at doing mushrooms.
Does he wear a man bun though?
He does. You know who else wears a man bun? Stay tuned on social media to find out when, kids. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Jim Rum's got you in the jungle next. Mark Ryan and Diesel go off sides of 3. We're back tomorrow to do it all over again on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. Hashtag thank you, Rob. Get it trending. I didn't do it. Lonzo picked it, not me. You guys put it in the boo box, and Lonzo picked it. I had nothing to do with it.
I told you her opinion would be what it is.
I do like Miss Lisa dropping better than the ugly Clemson shirt. Thanks for watching, guys.